You know, the first rule of creativity is there's no rules. Creativity is supposed to be fun. Whether you're making music, making a painting, it really doesn't matter. Everything else comes later. Equipment, gear. But what's paramount is experimentation. And just outright having fun. Because if you're not having fun, what's the point? And if you're not experimenting, how are you supposed to stumble upon things that could completely change your life? And you're going to come across people who are going to say poo-poo to your idea, your visions, as ridiculous as they may be or as conservative as they may be. Whether you're doing it right, doing it your way, well, there's no wrong. You're doing it proper. Gear, equipment, ability, all that stuff comes later. And those who look at a project like this, I think it's not worthy, doesn't understand, they don't get it. They may know music, they may know music theory. They very well could be the most accomplished individual within their chosen field of creativity. Because of experimentation and fun with the occasional setback, frustration. Without that, no point. No point at all. When something's not necessarily for you, you just need to recognize that it's just not for you. Your feelings, your opinions on the matter do not give it its weight as a whole. Does not give it its value. It only gives you value within your own personal space, your own thoughts and your own ideals, which you can have. But your opinions and your feelings, or my opinions and my feelings, do not necessarily reflect truth. They are just things that we feel derived upon our own personal experiences on this stupid rock. And your everyday nonsense on this stupid rock. Oh, it's a challenge. Life is one giant challenge. And we use creativity to escape that. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, if you can't handle unconventional guitar carnage, right now might be the time to see yourself out. Because what I'm going to do to this guitar once this glue dries, it's going to be fun. But make no mistake. Make no mistake. I plan to do unspeakable things to this guitar. But more importantly, I pray I don't mutilate this ground wire. Because then I'm going to be soldering something out here. So allow me a moment to screw these in. Get this secured where it's going to be permanently for the rest of its days. We'll get started with the actual video. When learning, one of the previous owners of this instrument took some sellotape and paper and marked off the notes of each string. And over time, that glue got tough and tough and tough, and now it's almost permanent. And I'm all out of glue gone. But a master once told me, and yes, I don't mean that facetiously, that one of the world's best solvents, it's one of the strongest, and it's the safest to use. It comes from your mouth. Is there a right? Is there a wrong way? I suppose that is based off of your own personal standards. Sure, there are ways that'll mess things up, but I'm clearly using principles on this guitar, but not standard practices. Will the result be the same? Will I be able to play this instrument? Aside from its aesthetic, would I feel confident playing it out in a live situation? I don't know. That's what the experiment's all about. Now please do not ever misconstrue my channel as a how-to. Though I may give instruction from time to time, it's more relating experience than it is trying to teach you anything, because I am not a teacher by any stretch of the imagination. Nor do I claim to know everything. Yes, I could do it what you consider the proper way, and I've done it in many settings. I've done it for a number of years. I've done it for myself. I've done it for others. I've done it for companies. And you know what? That gets boring. So every now and again, I like to pull out a project like this. Something ridiculous. Something that's probably going to piss off a handful of people. Why waste your time? Well, I'm sorry that you're so miserable that you can't see fun. Now, am I saying that they're wrong in their judgment? Maybe so. Are they validated in their feelings? Absolutely. Where's my sandpaper? Absolutely they are. There's nothing worse than a closed-minded individual who tries to convince you that their way is right, when in reality, it's not right, it's not wrong. They're just talking from their own personal experiences, their own standards, and that's what works for them. I think the point I'm trying to get at is, in reality, nothing really sucks. There are things that are better than others, and things that look like they have more skill behind them than others, sure. Yes, there are standards. But nothing sucks. There's not a song on this planet that sucks. Not a movie on this planet that sucks. In reality, they're just examples of things that we personally do not enjoy. But even if one person enjoys what was done or what was being made, or the end result of whatever activity it is we're talking about, then the item can't possibly suck now, can it? It's just niche at this point. And to that individual, it could very possibly make them happy. I watched a movie last night called Santa Jaws from 2018. It's on Tubi right now, free if you want to watch it. With obnoxious commercials back, you know, like back when we were kids. Watching the old TV. And as a movie, it was trash. In your standards. Let me tell you, if I didn't have fun watching that movie, man. Yeah, it was a little long. Probably could have been an hour long and been perfect. And it looked like the director just didn't throw anything away. But I enjoyed myself, and I suppose when it comes to art, that's what it's all about. I love when people who don't even bother with creativity try to tell you what art is. That's not art, I could have done that. Didn't do it. Because you see, there are those of us out here doing it. And you're just sitting there crying about it. Trying to tell the world you are the king of what is and isn't. Meanwhile, there's people out here actually doing things. I think that's self-explanatory, right? And the reason I enjoy doing things like this so much is because it frees you. A lot of times in creativity, you don't quite know where to go with it. And when that happens, you get into this rut, and it kind of locks your creativity. It keeps it in a jail. It keeps it under lock and key. You can't trust what you think. But when you have a project like this, where there are no rules, and you tell yourself that from the beginning, just if you think it, just do it. If you think it, just do it. It's freedom. It's freedom in its greatest form. And it feels so amazing to have no direction, to have no rules. If I were making a guitar for somebody else, I obviously wouldn't be this sloppy. I wouldn't be this careless. I probably wouldn't have this much fun. And if this becomes a playable instrument, bonus. But if I was working on a guitar for you, obviously, I would put my head down, do the job, and get it done, and I would enjoy doing it because it's what I enjoy doing. But I'm locked into a very stringent, narrow hallway of doors I can go in and out of. Whereas this is like an open basketball field. Court. It's court. But when you do projects like this, it just frees things up in a way that you can't explain. You can't explain. So, we're going to let everything dry. And then we're going to come back and we're going to finish this thing. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. We can't talk about finishing it without talking about its origins. And in the past, I told you about this. This was sitting in storage in my hallway, in that little corner that we've seen a few times. And I literally just haphazardly put these pickups on it, like that. And I was walking by and I said, that's not a bad look. There's something about chrome and black on a guitar that just does it for me. It just really does it for me. The whole section where the bridge screws into was snapped and was kind of like on a hinge, so I popped it out and cleaned it up and epoxied it back in there, and it's just been sitting around forever. Then I started doodling on it. That heart was there. I believe the blue I think I put the blue there. But everything else I did. And we're going to continue it, obviously. This is all done with Posca pens. But I saw that, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And the only reason I didn't do it sooner is because I didn't have a neck. But then I remember I did have a neck for this specific body. So I just went around the house gathering parts. And that's what you see here. And these are the parts we're going to reuse. Hopefully these tuners weren't that bad. If not, we have a backup. We have a backup. I don't remember what guitar this bridge came off of, but I like those solid saddles. In worst case scenario, I'll eventually just take them off and use them somewhere else. But I don't care if it's a tremolo or not. And since this thing was snapped to begin with, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna JB weld a bridge right to it. But I had to get the ground in there first, and because we're doing it all haphazardly, I just did it like that. And I hope the screw grabbed onto the wire, because the wire in this thing is super thin. It's super thin. So next time we come back and look at this, and it will be probably, I can't say for sure it'll be the next video, but I'm not going to stop. As a matter of fact, as soon as I'm done with this and edit this video, I'm going to continue work on this guitar in between things. So I'll probably have this guitar done in the next day or so. So I guess the point of part one is to say, look, your feelings on anything like this is valid. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But just because you don't like something doesn't mean it sucks. Your experiences, your tastes dictate that kind of a thing. And like we mentioned earlier, I mean, there are things that are better made, you know. But to try to limit this kind of freedom and creativity by poo-pooing on it, when you're not even doing anything yourself. Everyone thinks they're an expert, but trust me, you don't understand what goes on for the creative. You know, it's not about just slapping paint on something. It's not about just gluing things to a guitar body and trying to disrupt the order of things. I doubt it will, but that's the main reason why I'm doing this guitar. I want people to look at it and get upset, but I want them to sit there and hear my words and maybe think for about 5 minutes. I'm not saying you have to go out there and be creative. Absolutely not, if that's just not your bag. But I guess in a little way, I'm trying to say that you're more than welcome to say how much you do not like this. But you do not have the right, and you will not ever be allowed over here to say to anybody else that they shouldn't like it or enjoy it or argue about that. This video was not prompted by anybody in particular. This video was prompted by the internet as a whole. And I saw that and was like, yeah, we're going to make that happen. We're going to make that happen. And we're going to do it here with you. And I hope you enjoy the process, because that's what it's about. The journey, not the destination. But if the destination is somewhere fun to go, like Wally World, and it's open, who's to argue with that?